Veronica is a Spanish horror film that has been dubbed as one of the scariest movies ever made. The film, directed by Paco Plaza, tells the story of a teenage girl who unleashes a demonic force after playing with an Ouija board. The film is based on a true story, known as the Vallecas case, which is the only case in Spanish history where the police officially reported paranormal activity. This is the story of the possession of Estefania, the terrifying true story behind Veronica. Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro was a 15-year-old girl who lived in Madrid with her parents and 4 siblings. She was a normal and happy teenager who enjoyed music, movies, and hanging out with her friends. She was also curious about the occult and often read books and magazines about ghosts, spirits, and witchcraft. One day, in 1990, Estefania and 2 of her friends decided to perform a seance at school using an Ouija board. They wanted to contact the spirit of one of their friend's boyfriend who had died in a motorcycle accident. They waited until the teacher left the classroom and then set up the Ouija board on a desk. They placed a glass on the board and put their fingers on it. They asked the spirit to communicate with them and waited for a response, but the seance was interrupted by the teacher, who came back and saw what they were doing. She was angry and scared, and she grabbed the Ouija board and tore it apart. The girls screamed and claimed that they saw a puff of smoke coming out of the glass and entering Estefania's nose and mouth. They said that Estefania looked pale and sick, and that she started to cough and choke. The teacher dismissed their claims and told them to stop playing with such things. She sent them to the principal's office and confiscated the Ouija board. She thought that the girls were just trying to scare her and that the smoke was just a trick of the light. She did not realize that she had just witnessed the beginning of a nightmare. After the seance, Estefania's life changed dramatically. She started to suffer from seizures, hallucinations, and nightmares. She said that she saw shadowy figures in her room that whispered and threatened her. She said that she heard voices in her head that told her to do evil things. She said that she felt a presence in her body that tried to control her. Her parents took her to several doctors and psychiatrists, but none of them could find a physical or mental cause for her condition. They prescribed her medication, but it did not help. They suggested that she was suffering from stress or trauma or hysteria. They did not believe that she was possessed by a demon, but Estefania's condition worsened and she became more violent and aggressive. She attacked her siblings and scratched and bit them. She threw objects across the room and broke furniture and windows. She spoke in languages that she did not know and made animal noises. She levitated from her bed and twisted her body in unnatural ways. She burned her skin with cigarettes and cut her wrists with knives. She said that she wanted to die and that she wanted to kill her family. Her parents were terrified and desperate, and they did not know what to do. They tried to pray for her and to bless her with holy water, but it did not work. They tried to contact priests and to request an exorcism, but they were rejected. They tried to keep her at home and to protect her from herself and from others. They tried to keep their situation a secret and to avoid the gossip and the judgment of their neighbors. They tried to cope with their ordeal and to hope for a miracle. But their nightmare was far from over. On August 13th, 1991, Estefania died under mysterious circumstances. She had a severe seizure and fell into a coma. She was rushed to the hospital, but the doctors could not save her. She was pronounced dead, and her body was taken to the morgue. The autopsy could not determine the cause of her death and labeled it as sudden and suspicious. Her parents were devastated and heartbroken, and they blamed themselves for her death. They wondered if they had done something wrong or if they had not done enough to help her. They wondered if they had angered God or the devil or both, and if they had been cursed or punished or abandoned. They wondered if they would ever find peace or closure or justice. But their nightmare was not over yet. After Estefania's death, the paranormal phenomena in her family's apartment intensified. Her parents and siblings claimed that they heard her voice, calling them from different rooms. They said that they saw her ghost walking in the hallways or sitting on the couch. They said that they felt her touch, grabbing their hands or pulling their hair. They said that they smelled her perfume or her cigarette smoke or her blood. They also experienced other terrifying events, such as doors slamming, lights flickering, objects flying, pictures burning, and crosses inverting. They also heard strange noises, such as knocks, bangs, screams, and laughter. They also saw dark shadows, glowing eyes, and bloody handprints. They also felt cold spots, electric shocks, and physical attacks. They were haunted by Estefania and by other entities that seemed to feed on their fear and their grief. They were tormented by nightmares and by visions that showed them horrible scenes and ominous messages. They were plagued by bad luck and by misfortune that affected their health, their work, and their relationships. They were living in hell, and they could not escape. On November 27, 1992, more than a year after Estefania's death, her family decided to call the police and to report their situation. They hoped that the police would help them, or at least believe them. They hoped that the police would find an explanation or a solution or a way out. The police arrived at their apartment and found them outside in the rain, terrified and exhausted. They told them their story and showed them their evidence. They begged them to enter their apartment and to witness the phenomena for themselves. The police agreed and entered the apartment with skepticism and curiosity. They expected to find nothing or to find a rational explanation. They expected to debunk their claims or to expose their hoax. They expected to close the case or to solve the mystery, but they were wrong. The police experienced the same phenomena that the family had described, and more. They heard Estefania's voice and other voices that spoke to them and insulted them. They saw Estefania's ghost and other ghosts that appeared to them and scared them. They felt Estefania's touch and other touches that grabbed them and hurt them. They also witnessed other events that defied logic and science and reason. They witnessed a crucifix bend and a poster of Jesus Christ burst into flames. They witnessed a door open and close by itself and a loud bang that shook the whole apartment. They witnessed a phone cord move and coil like a snake and a photo of Estefania catch fire and burn only her face. They were shocked and frightened, and they could not explain what they saw or what they felt. They could not deny the reality or the intensity of the phenomena. They could not ignore the evidence or the testimony of the case. They decided to write an official report and to document their experience. They decided to state the facts and to admit the truth. They decided to acknowledge the existence and the presence and the activity of the paranormal. They became the first and the only police officers in Spanish history to do so. The Vallecas case, as it is known, remains one of the most famous and controversial cases of paranormal phenomena in Spain and in the world. It has been the subject of many investigations and speculations by experts and amateurs and enthusiasts. It has also been the inspiration for many works of fiction and horror and mystery, such as the film Veronica. But no one has been able to find a definitive answer to the case. No one has been able to explain what happened to Estefania, or why or how. No one has been able to identify the source or the nature or the purpose of the phenomena. No one has been able to stop or to end or to prevent the haunting. No one knows the possession of Estefania or the terrifying true story behind Veronica.